Hey everyone, President Joe Biden, he announced on July 21st that he's dropping out of the 2024 presidential race, creating a lot of uncertainty around the Democratic Party leading into the presidential election. Since then, President Biden came out publicly and has endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris. So what happens next, and who are some of the leading candidates for vice president, and how ultimately will this affect the stock market and cannabis stocks? Like any election, Democratic Party delegates, party representatives, will choose the candidate. Usually this is a formality, and they obey the voters' choice in the primaries. This time, the Democratic nominee will solely be decided by delegates. In other words, Biden's delegates are now free agents. While Biden won virtually every single one of the Democrats' roughly 4,000 delegates in the primaries, his endorsement of Vice President Harris does not automatically send his delegates over to her. These delegates will now vote independently and have no obligation to listen to voters. So there are now two paths for the Democrats to pick their nominee. One, a roll call vote, and two, an open convention. So number one, a roll call vote. The Democratic Party could decide to hold on a roll call vote before the convention, which is scheduled August 19th to the 22nd in Chicago. If a candidate wins a majority of delegates during that vote, they could win the nomination before the convention. If no one wins a majority or the party declines to hold a roll vote, the decision would be made at an open convention. Here, delegates would debate on and choose a nominee at the Democratic convention, which again is scheduled in Chicago in August of 2024. Qualifying candidates would make their case to their 4,000 delegates, who would then vote until a candidate wins a majority. Another question is what will happen to the $90 million plus of funds Biden's campaign has on hand, in addition to the tens of millions more belonging to the political action committees, which were set up to support Biden's campaign. If Kamala is the nominee, she will likely get all of that money. But if she's not, the Biden campaign will be able to transfer at least some of it. The details here will depend on how exactly the funds were pledged. Donors may they play a major role in deciding the next candidate, because the candidate has to be someone to whom donors will immediately pledge significant funds. So far, Kamala Harris has Biden's endorsement, but it's worth noting former President Barack Obama has not, which now leads to many thinking that Michelle Obama could throw her name in the ring. It's also worth noting, too, that the DNC convention will be held where? In Chicago, the hometown of the Obamas. But for now, it appears Kamala Harris is the leading candidate. So what would a Harris presidency look like for cannabis stocks? And who are some of Harris's VP candidates? First, if Kamala Harris were elected, it's worth noting that she has been a vocal advocate for legalizing the cannabis industry. She supports decriminalization of marijuana and expunging non-violent cannabis-related convictions. Her stance signals potential progress and opportunities for the industry and potentially legalizing it federally. So this is a good thing. Her VP rumored selections, we first begin with Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, who has expressed support for legalizing recreational marijuana in the state. He believes that regulating and taxing cannabis can generate revenue, create jobs, and address social justice issues. Pennsylvania currently has a medical market, and many believe an adult use market will pass within the state by the end of 2024, making it one of the largest cannabis markets in America. Another candidate, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, who has shown openness to exploring the medicinal benefits of cannabis. While he has not openly supported full legalization, he has backed efforts to legalize medical marijuana in the state, another positive for the industry. And finally, Roy Cooper, governor from North Carolina. He too is in full support of advancing the cannabis industry. So all in all, it looks like this could be a positive if a Harris presidency were to happen for the cannabis space. So some interesting candidates as the plot thickens, leading into what might be the most important election in American history. So who do you think is going to be nominated as the candidate for the Democratic Party? Leave your comment below on who you think will win, who their VP selection will be, and the impact it'll have on the cannabis industry. Much appreciation too if you could smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and make sure to click on that bell for all notifications, as we will continue to provide you with up-to-date information leading up to the federal election in November. Thanks again, everyone, for watching.